Welcome to the LP Podcast in the USA Prime East Texas studio. Don't forget, like and subscribe.
Our guest today really doesn't need an introduction because you've probably seen him on your smartphone or computer screen reporting the haps of East Texas. He has built several very popular sites and pages on various social media platforms. He's been named North Texas and East Texas Press Association Journalist of the Year 4 times. He's a United States military veteran, business owner, and his greatest claim to fame is he's the father of our very own Aislynn Hannigan. It's Michael Hannigan.
It's brought to you by Lake Athens Fireworks, Wealth Enhancement Group, D&B Customs, and the LaRue Delivery Service. Isn't that the guy, real quick, that's the guy who you can pay $15 and he'll just run to town and get something for you? Am I correct on that?
I don't know. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I like that.
I think that's what he does. Cool guy.
Good dude to know.
Send him a message on Facebook. My mom's telling me about it. Anyway, enough about the horrible introduction that I've put together.
That was great.
Oh, thank you.
No, it was very good.
Tell us about yourself, about your family.
Well, you just did the intro and said everything about me.
That's it. There's nothing
that's it.
more.
There's nothing more.
That's
no,
it.
No.
I have been a journalist in the area for 30 years, doing some kind of reporting to the people of Henderson County and Athens for that time. I am the public information officer for the city of Athens. I also do the same job for Henderson County government. I run my own blog where I write local sports and local events. I'm also the youth minister at Dogwood Church.
Oh, really?
Mr. Hannigan.
Oh, you go.
Mr. Hannigan. So obviously
Just Michael.
Michael.
Yeah, that's cool.
Michael.
It's cool. Or if you want to use my last name, just the last name, no Mr. Yo Hannigan. That's fine.
Just call him Michael. He'll keep talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Michael, obviously now you live in Athens. Where did you grow up as a young child before you moved to Texas?
So I was born in Philadelphia, and I grew up across the bridge in New Jersey. We moved when I was 8 years old, so I'm pretty much a Philly guy. I used to have an accent. Luckily, I don't have that anymore from living in Texas for so long now, but I used to have an accent.
Go Eagles, right?
Oh, dude, if we need to kill some time, I'll do the Eagles fight song anytime we need, right? So.
Might need to call you up on that.
Yeah.
Got some time to kill.
Listen, the way, man, I can talk for 30 minutes and not say a word. Yeah, it's a skill set.
Gift of gab.
Yo, 100%.
Why journalism?
That is a great question. I always wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be Stephen King, actually.
Oh.
And I wrote some fiction back in the day. I got some short stories published. But there is absolutely zero money in that.
Yeah, got to get big, though.
Yeah, you got to get really big to get any money in that. And I was lucky enough to have a friend in Malakoff when I came here who owned the Malakoff News, Loretta Humble, and she asked me to write a column for the newspaper. And I wrote a couple of columns, and I really enjoyed it. And I parlayed that into my first job at the Athens Daily Review and fell in love. And it's been great for 30 years. I can't imagine myself doing anything else.
The jump from fiction to, reality and writing about stuff like that, was that shocking to you?
I think some artists would say that fiction is more real than reality sometimes. But no, it wasn't, because it's all about writing. What I learned about myself, and I think what I learned about most writers, is we're explainers. That's basically what I am. I'm an explainer. I go to places where you didn't get to go, and I explain it, right? I go to the La Pointer Flyer playoff game that you didn't go to, and then I write a story, and I explain how Daniel came off the bench,
lifted us up with one arm.
Yeah, with one arm, and gave the team a boost to get through that playoff game. That's what I do. I explain whether it's city council, Henderson County government, whether it's going to youth group and talking to my youth group, whatever it is. Basically, I'm just explaining.
So you love sports, right? What is your favorite sports event to be at and write a column about?
Another really good question. You know, and I think that as far as regular sports go, I have been lucky enough to cover some state championship games. I covered Malakoff winning the state title last year. But on a regular basis, my favorite event to go cover is the Henderson County Livestock Show, because it brings together people from all over the county. There's this combination of competition and camaraderie that you don't see in many other places. And I really, really love going there. It's as Henderson County as you can get. Is right there on the fairgrounds that week.
Fairgrounds is kind of Athens' crown jewel, if you ask me. Like,
but the interesting thing is it's not even in Athens.
It's like right outside.
It's outside Athens. That's a Henderson County government facility. It's not even Athens, but everybody considers it Athens. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Bro, do not cough on the mics.
I didn't. I called.
Okay.
It has a cover for a reason.
I even did this.
It has a cover for a reason. We clean these.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was worried for a second there.
Only this one.
So, how was the military for you?
Yeah, I was a flight operations specialist in the Army. So I worked for a medevac unit, and we had a real world mission. We were in Alaska. And I was based in Fairbanks, Alaska, and because you can't have regular transportation north of there, because you're up into the Arctic Circle, the helicopters we ran was the ambulance service for the Arctic Circle. And so I basically worked as a dispatcher for those helicopters. And so I actually had a bit of an odd military experience because I didn't actually do much going to the field and stuff like that. I did that a couple of times, but not as many as some people do, because we were always at home working our job for the people of Alaska.
You were serving Alaska.
Right. Yeah, we were.
Because they needed the help. I mean, it's wilderness just straight up out there.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you're out there in, January, and somebody in the Arctic Circle gets hurt. The only way they can get to the hospital was 283rd Medical Detachment.
So when you weren't saving lives with the dispatch and the helicopters, did you go do some ice fishing?
No, I wasn't big on the ice fishing. I did a whole lot of fishing when there wasn't ice, though. And I caught a whole lot of grayling up there, which is sort of like a rainbow trout, but it's got this fin on its back. And when you catch it, it throws the fin up, and it makes it feel like you're fighting a fish twice as big as the size that you're actually landing. It's great. Also good eating.
So how long were you stationed in Fairbanks?
3 years.
3 years.
3 years. I was there for 3 years. And interesting thing about Fairbanks is that the cold you get used to really easy. When I got off the plane, it was 60 below zero.
Ooh.
Was it colder in Alaska than in Philly?
Oh, way colder. Way colder. 60 below zero. There's this phenomenon called ice fog, where if you throw water out, the water will crystallize into the air, and the crystals just hang there.
Wicked.
And so you would just drive along, and there would be these clouds of ice crystals. But that wasn't the bad part. You got used to that pretty quickly. It was the daylight and the dark that was the real problem.
The long, really long, dark, really long days?
Yeah, long days in the summer. On the summer solstice, they have a festival up there, and they have a baseball game there because they have a semi-pro baseball team there called the Miners. And the Miners game starts at midnight, and they never turn the lights on.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Actually, do you think they'd go by a different clock because of the weird time or the weird daylight thing?
Well, they don't buy new clocks because the time is still the same, but they do buy different lights. They buy different light bulbs because the light bulbs that they can buy, like the biggest problem you have is you don't get enough vitamin D from the sun during those winter years, and that's what drives people crazy, like cabin fever and things like that. So they install these different kinds of lights that have vitamin D so that you can actually feel better.
I did not know that. That's pretty smart.
Do you think that your service in the military helped motivate your career in journalism?
Another excellent question. I don't think it motivated it, but I think it informs it for sure. Meaning I'm not doing that because of the military, but for the same reasons I went into the military and for the things I saw while I was in the military, I have a very specific belief about my job, right? So the best way to explain it is I never vote in an election I cover. Now, I have the right to vote, but let's say you and Gus are running against each other. I want to be able to look you both in the eye and say, I don't care who wins. I don't care who wins. I'm going to treat you both the same, right? I have a responsibility to treat you both the same. And if I go walk into a voting booth, then you know I'm lying, right? Because I voted for one of the two of you.
You got to be unbiased as a journalist, right?
So I give up my right to vote because I feel like I have a bigger role in the community to fill. And I think that goes back to the idea of the Army where sometimes service is about sacrifice. And the best way that you can serve, the best thing that you can do is sacrifice. And so I sacrifice my right to vote in order to fulfill a different role.
To provide an actual unbiased journalistic opinion.
Correct.
Whereas nowadays everything's so one or the other pick.
Correct.
Instead of just a broader perspective.
Which, by the way, and I don't want to get into politics. I don't want to get into politics. I don't want to get into politics. But I will say this. One of the things we do these days is say, oh, it's so bad. It's never been this bad. That is so not true. Go back and study the presidential election of Thomas Jefferson. Okay? Right. And see how bad the media was during that election. Like, we've always been like this.
No doubt.
Always.
Okay, so what brought you to, like, Athens in particular? Because didn't you move from Alaska to Athens?
I did move from Alaska to Athens.
Why?
Did you really want to get into this?
Yes. Yes, we do.
I'm scared. I don't know. That was like... So what brought you to Athens?
So...
Can I take a guess? Her mother.
No.
Oh, God.
Worth a shot.
The other wife.
Oh. Even better.
I forgot about that.
Even better. Well,
So
it turned out okay.
While I was in Alaska, I met a woman who was
Oh, there were three to specify. There were three to clarify any of this.
My dad had three.
Let's do this again. I went to Alaska with one wife and got divorced. I met a woman from Crossroads, Texas. And while I was in Alaska, I decided I definitely did not want to go back to the East Coast. I did not want to deal with the congestion or the people. And so I came back to Henderson County with her. But that is not Aislynn's mom.
No, my mother's the best one.
Yes, absolutely.
Obviously.
100%.
Obviously.
I'm assuming because of the children, yeah, probably
Well, there
the
were
best
children
one.
with the first one. Two of them.
Didn't know that. There we go.
So I have a 38-year-old, a 36-year-old, 15-year-old twins, a 14-year-old granddaughter, an 8-year-old grandson,
And then
and a 3-year-old
No,
grandson.
didn't he just turn 4?
4-year-old grandson.
4-year-old grandson.
Can we cut all of this?
No.
That was the best part.
That
man.
was good. That's
Just
the
cut.
best.
We'll just cut all this.
Get it all out.
Very diverse.
Yeah.
People don't need to know that.
People
Oh,
do.
and by the way, just so that she's not the only twin getting in on all of this, make sure you all remind Sean that his 2 sisters were both all district in basketball, and one sister was all region.
My sister was freshman varsity dog, defensive first team all district defensive player, all 4 years on varsity.
Hey, isn't it fun living up to
Yeah,
expectations?
and I'm nowhere close to her, but
That's okay. Everybody has their own thing. The whole secret is finding where you fit, what your gift is, and also finding out what you enjoy.
Yeah.
Do you love basketball?
I do love basketball.
Man, then play.
So, Mr. Michael,
Yes.
you have such a passion for Henderson County.
Yeah.
Why is that?
It's my home. I love Henderson County and I love Athens, Texas. And I love La Pointer. I used to come here and cover Coach Corley. So I know La Pointer, even though we may be newcomers, at least a little bit. But it's more about being passionate about where you live rather than a particular place. I believe that we worry way too much about what other people are doing, right? Mm-hmm. We worry way too much about what's going on in Washington. And we worry way too much about what's going on other places. Whereas if you're worried about your own hometown, the way I usually put it is if you take care of your own front yard and everybody else did, then we'd be okay. And so for me, it's more about taking care of my front yard. Like, this is my community. And if I don't take care of it, who will? And that's what it's about.
It's pretty good wisdom right there. Wisdom drop.
Did you hear that wisdom?
Wisdom
Bro,
drop.
below his ego.
Hey,
I like that.
That's what it's about. Wisdom right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see. What else we got on this little piece of paper here?
Hey, you haven't asked anything except the embarrassing thing about my family.
Well,
Yeah, you ask a question.
all right. So, what else about your family? Let's do that. Cause that's what I'm good at, man. Cause I've been there for a while.
Only your whole life.
Yeah, only my whole life, give or take.
So I'm very much influenced by my mother. My mother, who is 83 and lives in Athens now, is the single toughest person I know. When I was growing up, she worked from 11 at night till 7 in the morning on the New Jersey Turnpike as a waitress and a supervisor in a Turnpike restaurant. There were 3 of them. The other 2 were from the Texas prison system, the New Jersey prison system. And they were afraid of her.
Wasn't she like 90 pounds at this point?
Yes.
Like, she's a little like skinny woman.
Well, those are scariest.
So
The small ones?
The feisty.
Last year, now remember she's 83. Last year, she was taking care of the dogs for my older daughter, and she got locked in their backyard, and she didn't have her phone. So she went over and took a couple of lawn chairs, stacked them on each other, climbed up them, and climbed over an 8-foot fence.
At 83 years
Didn't
old?
she break her
Yeah.
arm?
No,
Didn't she
didn't.
break something?
No.
Oh, she broke
Flawlessly
No.
executed. No doubt in my mind.
something. They had
yeah.
a spare key like under the rug, but you know.
Why
I'm
did that when you
I'm
can
gonna
climb
tell
the
my mom that you're like throwing her
I'm
under the
just
bus
saying, like,
on the
yes, she's
podcast,
tough
man.
and I love her and I fear her, but like there was a key.
Everybody fears her.
Kind of
Maybe-
went to the extreme.
Maybe
really
climbing the
fast.
fence was her
Yeah.
easy way.
Yeah. You know?
Key was the hard way.
Listen,
was
all I'm
hard.
gonna say about my mom is she looked at me and she said she'd smack the crap out of me, but she was afraid I'd disappear.
You say that to me.
Where do you think I got it?
Lord have Jesus.
Apple fall far?
No, not at
No.
all.
Okay. Didn't think so.
But I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aaron,
What's up, Colton?
Did I tell you the LP podcast and the Fantasy Football Fallout now has a studio sponsor?
You didn't. Who is it?
USA Prime East Texas.
Really?
You can look at it.
Okay, so I guess this is their ad read. So USA Prime East Texas is a select baseball organization based out of Tyler, Texas. So that means it's local. With 100% placements of all athletes in college and full professional coaching staff. And part of the largest full-service select baseball program in the country. We are honored to be chosen to help your son with his dream of playing college baseball. Come join the Prime family and you'll see why we're different. And that's our studio name sponsored.
I know, that's
So
pretty sick,
USA
Aaron.
Prime East Texas Baseball. Go check them out.
This podcast is brought to you by Osmosis Nail and Spa in Athens, Texas. Are you ready to hear about this, honey?
Yes, girl.
Trying to get my nails done after hearing about this. Mm-hmm. Ready to relax, rejuvenate, and refresh your look? Osmosis Nail Salon is here to make it happen. With a full range of professional nail and waxing services.
Okay.
You'll experience top-tier pampering from their experienced and friendly staff who prioritize your comfort and your looks.
Mm-hmm. As it should.
Mm-hmm. I meant style. Step into a world full of relaxation and leave feeling your best.
Yeah.
Book your appointment today by calling 903-288-2647. 903-288-2647. Osmosis Nail Salon in Athens, Texas.
So one of the things people don't understand about journalism is that when you're a reporter, some of the power that you have is not in what you write, but what you don't write. And not in what you say, but what you don't say. So in my Bible, in my old Bible, I have in Proverbs little boxes around every one of the Proverbs that I call the shut up Proverbs.
I think you need to loan that to Sean every once in a while.
I absolutely. But there are dozens of shut up Proverbs in the Bible. And God tells us constantly, shut up.
Stop wagging that muscle in your mouth.
That's right.
Smacking your gums together.
Read James. James has plenty to say about it.
I almost just turned off the entire thing by kicking that.
Let's not do that.
Yeah, that'd suck, wouldn't it?
Why don't you guys ask me about my first podcast?
All right, what was your first podcast?
So I'm glad you asked that question.
Good
I know,
good
I'm
question.
so creative.
Great question. Back in the day, podcasts were first coming to thing. This was probably 13, 14 years ago. Podcasts weren't what they were today. We were just starting to figure them out. And DJ Warren was at a city council meeting in Athens trying to get the Athens farmers market up and going. And had to ask the city council for some stuff. And after the meeting, I had DJ sit in the truck with me, and I put my phone down between us and hit record and recorded my first ever podcast in a truck.
No better place
Looked
to do
nothing like this, did it?
No.
No, and I still don't. I still don't have any of this stuff. I have a phone. I
Works.
put a phone
Don't
in
you
the
have the
middle
little
of
pluggy thing that goes into the phone, though? No.
Oh, I have all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't use any of it.
Why?
'Cause-
authenticity.
Some of that is expensive, though.
So here's the thing. All of that stuff. Now, this is a little different. You've got 4 people, right? You got different people. You want to balance that. Most of my stuff is one-on-one, right? I don't think it would work in a situation like this, what I do. You really need the equipment that you have for this. But in the situations I have where I'm doing one-on-one, a lot of the times, yes, the microphones and everything else make it sound better. But the phone itself is like 90% of what I get. And so it's just so much easier to toss the phone down and go, let's go.
Let's do it right now.
Let's do it.
I mean, if you're
And
having a good
so
conversation.
I don't have to mess with it. It's easier to edit and put together and everything else. And when you're doing 3 podcasts a week, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot less work and hassle if you just pop your phone down instead of setting up all this, getting the script
Right.
ready or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you edit and put together all of your podcasts, like yourself?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Solid answer.
You should
Solid
train,
answer.
Solid answer.
Yes.
All right.
You should train one of your minions to do it.
Minions.
I've tried.
He
I
does.
tried.
He
I said,
tries really
hey,
hard.
come look at this. You want to see how this works? And she says, I'm reading.
Bro.
That's what she says, bro.
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 You threw me under the bus with the family, bro.
Honestly, out of all the things in my life, if you had to pick that one, I'm okay with that one.
Okay. I didn't say anything else.
So
She certainly wasn't cleaning her room.
So
nice.
in your writings and in your columns, do you refer and use the Bible and your knowledge on the Christian basis a lot?
I have written a lot of columns and like that. Yes. In fact, I'm in the process of putting together a collection of them. So that the working title is Grace in the Ordinary, because usually what it is I think that God talks to everybody in different ways. For me, it's just ordinary things. And for instance, a really messy front yard that hasn't been mowed. And when I see something like that, a lot of the times I'll just get some insight. And that's when I write.
So are you writing a book?
It's more like a collection.
You're gonna
They're
publish
already written, and that's like just like you guys are doing a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 years ago, even this would have been really hard to do. 10 years, nearly impossible to do, right? And so the industry has changed, and my entire career didn't exist 15 years ago. Like what I do, I invented what I did as I went along. And so you ask if I want to publish it. Yeah, the idea is to do that, but not in the normal way. I mean, there are ways now to basically package, market, and sell those types of content that we didn't have 5 years ago. And so that's what I'm going to do.
So do you think technology helped change the whole ball game of journalism and that whole?
I think that, great question. I think that what it changes, short answer is yes. But the biggest problem is what it changes is it changes the receiving end, right? My job is still the same. My job is still to explain, right? So let's go back to the basketball game because it's just a great example, right? So I go to the basketball game and I cover the game and I am going to go, if this had been when I started my career, 30 years ago, I would cover the game, take my stats, talk to the coach after the game, go away, sit at a computer, write a story, and the story would go in the newspaper. The next day, people would pick up the newspaper, open it up, and read it.
Yeah.
Okay? 12 hours after the game, 14 hours after the game, they would read about it. Well, that's not the way it works anymore.
Now it's like 30 minutes.
People have cell phones, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now that's changed everything. So instead, I watch the game, I take my stats, I go to the coach after the game and say, hey, coach, and do my interview. But now I have my phone and I'm recording.
Just post.
And I go out to my car and I turn it into a mini podcast in my car and get it posted within 15 minutes of the game being over. Then I go back and I write my story and I put it on Facebook and I put it on Twitter and I put it on Threads and I put it on my blog.
Everything.
Because I don't know where anybody's going to interact with it, right? I don't know if you're going to see it on Facebook or you're going to see it on my blog. I don't know if you're going to get the email or you're going to see it on Twitter. I have to do all of it.
Yeah, cover all your bases.
Right. So tonight, Athens the Athens Hornets are playing a football game in Jacksonville. And Facebook has opened up this new thing where their messenger allows what they call communities, right? So you can have up to 5,000 people in a Facebook Messenger community now. So what I've done is I've set up a Messenger community for that group of people, Hornet fans. And when I go to the game, I will be texting reports from the game for everybody who can't come to the game.
And they get it instantly.
And they get it instantly. I'll take pictures. I can post videos. I can do all of it. And then I can send them the link to the game story when I'm done. None of this stuff existed, right, before.
Mm-hmm.
The Facebook Messenger group idea I got at the state title game last year by accident. And this didn't even exist back then, the communities. It's brand new. Everything's always changing. So you ask about how it's adjusted journalism. I mean, my job is still the same. Find out what happened, find out the facts, package it all together in an interesting way for my readers, the people who follow me. I just have to be a lot more inventive of how I do it because they consume the content much differently.
Yeah. One final question. This is the last question for every guest in parentheses. Oh, do the quick draw? All right. Well, so big preach.
Got it.
Don't need Miss Reed biting my head off. Okay. We got a game. Love games. Do games here all the time.
Games.
By games, I mean we were just going to ask very quick questions.
All right, I don't play games. I just cover them.
All right, that wasn't as funny as you thought it would be.
Hey.
So, no,
That was funny.
No,
Someone's laughing somewhere.
Someone's laughing.
Right there.
There you go. Thanks.
More so laughing at her response.
I know, right?
exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
What's your favorite music artist?
And why?
Well, I grew up in New Jersey, so I have a very, very tight connection for Bruce Springsteen, the boss. Saw him twice at the Spectrum. My favorite Bruce story, I had tickets with my brother way up in the nosebleeds behind the stage. And it was still a great show, but halfway through, if you don't know about Bruce Springsteen, he doesn't have an opening act. He does the entire show himself. He went on for almost 3 hours. But about 2/3 of the way through, he walks around behind stage, and that's when I noticed that there's a horse trough there filled with ice water. And he comes over and he just plunges his head down into the ice water and picks it up and shakes his head off. And he does it like 2 or 3 times. And as he's walking out, some of his helpers are like drying off his hair and everything, drying him off. And he goes out and does another hour. So Bruce Springsteen.
Stud.
Yeah, big time.
What is your favorite movie of all time and why?
My favorite movie of all time. So one of the problems there is I'm not really a movie guy. I'm more of a TV guy. And what I will say is that my favorite style is sitcoms. I love 30-minute sitcoms. I grew up in the 70s with Happy Days and MASH and stuff like that, and it feels like home to me. And so I am constantly watching 30-minute sitcoms that are just silly.
I mess with friends like that. What's your favorite sports moment?
My favorite sports moment when the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
With Foles, right?
Nick Foles. Yeah.
What is your favorite world destination you have seen?
My favorite world destination I have seen. I have not been many places in the world. I've been to Canada, and I've taken some cruises. So I've seen Jamaica and places like that on a cruise. But the neatest places I've been is I was to the furthest point west in the contiguous United States and the furthest point south. In the west, it was in Alaska, and In the South, it was in the Keys in Florida.
All right, favorite child and why? Like your children. Like don't name some
Destiny's
random
Child.
Who the what?
That's a band.
You have to like name one of your children, like one of the four of us.
Children of the Corn.
No,
It's a Stephen
like
King
Amber,
book.
Kirsten, Aislynn, Sean, like one of those.
Yes.
All right, which one? Which one is your favorite and why?
You're not gonna get an honest answer, I promise.
I never do. He probably
That
gonna
is
say
an
Amber.
honest answer. I gave you all the honest answers.
Children of the Corn.
The Children of the Corn.
That
is
insinuates
definitely-
he prefers them over y'all.
Wow, that actually that's a new
So
low point.
no, you have to understand that the whole argument is that her older sisters are mad at the twins because they got calm, understanding,
And we
dad.
got broken dad who had already
And
been
they
through.
got broke dad who
I
was
see.
already used like a broken.
That's still not an answer to the question. You went around the question, but you didn't answer.
I thought
the
you were going to
question.
ask me who my favorite kid was.
That's what I did,
Yeah, because I was going to say Billy the.
bro. Like out of the four, I named the four that you could choose from.
Flip a coin.
This is not
Flip
a
two
fill in the
coins.
blank. This is like an answer, like the bub. You know what I'm talking about? Like multiple choice. There we go.
This is I'll take all of the above.
Bro, that's not an answer.
Oh, sure it is.
Always is.
Okay, can
Sure
I
it
at
is.
least be like above Sean? Can we like mark that?
You are my favorite female twin.
That
yes.
doesn't mean anything. That also means I'm your least favorite female twin.
Well, that's on you. Clean
better.
your room and it won't be.
Be better.
Be better.
Now,
That's
now
all we
we
tell them that. Don't be sorry. Be better.
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are now officially on our last question.
Okay.
What is your mission in life?
Ooh. Okay. First of all, you guys have done a really nice job of coming up with questions.
Thank you.
They were really well thought out, good questions. I only hope that I did as good a job coming up with answers. And this is obviously a stall tactic. As the little guy runs around in my brain pulling levers trying to figure out the answer to this one. I think I said it before. I am very service oriented. I am about serving my community. I'm about serving my church. About serving our school.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we as a people tend to think too much about ourselves. I think that we worry too much about what we want, what we deserve, what we should be getting, and forget what we owe. You owe your parents. You owe your community. You owe your teachers. And if it's only owing them an honest effort in the class, like honestly paying attention and not looking at your phone when you're in the middle of class. If you give an honest effort, you owe that to the situation. You owe that to all the people around you. And so that's my mission. My mission is to serve and feel like when I check out that I left my whole game on the floor.
Solid answer.
Very good
Thanks.
answer. Best answer I was hoping for, honestly.
Thanks.
This has been an absolute blast. Very educational. Learned a little bit about how to do interviews.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Hopefully.
Okay, so we ready for the outro?
Yeah, this is the outro now.
Okay, here we go.
Oh Lord,
Hey,
how'd
we'd
you-
like to thank you for being here today and being part of the Flyer podcast. We love you, LaPointer, and hey, go Flyer Nation.
Don't forget, like and subscribe.